Hey everyone, Fast Eddie here, and this video is going to be about how to do a burnout on a motorcycle. Now before all the keyboard cowboys start getting ready to say a whole bunch of ignorant stuff about a bunch of misspelled comments you're going to send me, the reason why I'm making this video is because you asked for it. So I received about 7 emails so far about, hey, I love drag racing, I live on the East Coast, and there's a bunch of drag strips around here, and whenever you go drag racing, you burn out the tires to get really nice and hot and sticky before you go drag race. And you don't have to do that, but these guys, one of the guys, he's actually trying to go professional drag racing, and he just wants to get a better idea. He's trying to do it, but he just takes off and relies on the bike just to be good, but he wants his bike to be a little bit more prepared to do a burnout. And plus, here in San Diego, if you didn't know, or if you're in the San Diego area, this is really cool. I don't know if they do it during the winter months, but during the summer months for sure, it's called Race Legal. Just go to racelegal.com. At Qualcomm Stadium, where the San Diego Chargers used to be, in the parking lot, they set up an 1/8 mile drag strip. And it's like a real drag strip, yellow, yellow, green, and you take off and you announce yourself. You have to wear full gear. They do a bike inspection, gear inspection. And for $30 all night, you could go drag race anything. You could drag race your motorcycle. You just have to have full gear, full face helmet, full, preferably leathers. Or you could drag race your minivan. You just have to have a full face helmet. But it's pretty cool because people go there, and people in San Diego, they have a lot of people have a lot of money. So you see like the Tesla P100Ds, you see a bunch of Ferraris out there, big old tubbed out rear tire, muscle cars, a whole bunch of really cool cars, Corvettes. So with $30, you can race all night there from like 6 p.m. to midnight. You can look at the schedule at racelegal.com. It's really cool because the whole purpose of that is to get people off the public roads. And you want to go drag race and go 100 miles per hour in 6 seconds? Great. This is a legal way to do it for 30 bucks. Or if you just want to go watch, it's only $10 to go watch. And there's cops there, there's an ambulance there, there's people announcing. You get your little slip of your reaction time and every single time you go. So it's a whole lot of fun. So if you want to go do something like that, I highly suggest to go to. It's kind of like my mentality of go to a parking lot and practice and get really good before you try to do anything on the public roads, take courses. You want to drag race and go fast? No problem. Race legal. So it's the same idea. So that's why I'm making the video. People ask me to do this. And I'm gonna say this video is how to do a burnout. A lot of people get confused that think my videos say you should, or I'm telling you what you should be doing. So I'm gonna repeat it. This is how to, not you should. If you don't drag race, and if you're not a professional stunt rider, then I don't understand why you would do this. You do it for fun, you can do whatever you want to do for fun. But of course, if you don't do this correctly, then you could burn out your clutch, and you think you're trying to do this, so you could jack up. I've seen people, you go watch a bunch of fails of people trying to do a burnout, and they wind up looping the bike and wheeling it and just destroying their bike. So I learned how to first do this when I was on my CBR 1000, when I went to Race Legal a bunch on that, and I went to Race Legal on my Hayabusa. It's a fast bike. So I learned how to do burnouts on both of those bikes because I was drag racing a lot. But so there we go. So basically, first thing, when you jump on your bike, if you have any technology in the bike, like traction control, ABS, or whatever else, I suggest just turn that off. You'd have to dig into your own owner's manual or go talk to the dealership, the people that made the bike or mechanics, to see if you're gonna damage anything. So somebody I knew a couple years ago, he had an R1, had all this technology, and he tried to do a burnout just for fun, but either the traction control or something prevented him from doing it. It did not allow the wheel to spin independently of the other wheel. So he actually wound up melting his clutch because he didn't take the technology off. So I suggest take everything off. Even if it doesn't have anything to do with it, take it off. So on the KTM, I'm gonna turn off the ABS just because I don't want anything, there's no other technology but that. Next, make sure you're on good grip because the front tire needs to be held still by holding the front brake. So if you're not in really good grip, then you're just gonna slide forward, and that's not gonna work out too well. And it's not a thing we're gonna try to do once and then you might just, okay, I got it perfectly now. You have to play with it. And you'll watch when I'm about to do it. You're gonna have to play with it to figure out how much throttle you need, how much you need to release the clutch, etc., etc. And keep in mind, heat is the enemy for drag racing and for burning out your tire, because the heat of the bike and you're trying to do the clutch and everything. So if you try to do it and you don't succeed, then try again. Like I went to Race Legal, and if I wasn't able to do a burnout, if it just wasn't working, I just screw it. I just go down, I just take off normally without burning out the tire. I mean, it's still amazing grip because you're at a drag strip, because all the other cars burning out their tires, you just line up in the track of the car and then you go and do it. So good grip on the ground. Get on your bike and turn off the technology. So let me turn off the ABS just to make sure there's nothing crazy gonna happen. Okay, ABS stop. So now the main thing is the front brake. No matter what happens, you could redline the bike, you could release the clutch fully, it's just gonna die. But if you let go of that front brake, you're gonna take off and you're not gonna like what's gonna happen. So the basic thing is you start the bike, you're gonna hold the front brake. And this is really good. If you know how to trail brake already, you're already used to doing throttle and brake at the same time. So you're gonna hold down the front brake really hard, start to get a little bit of gas, raise the RPM to like 4,000, 5,000. And as you ease out the clutch, you're holding the bike still. All the weight's gonna start to go and you're gonna go and it's gonna lighten up the rear. That's why I just suggest don't sitting on the bike, kind of stand up and get on your tippy toes, just to lighten the rear of the bike to have no weight on it. So when you start to give it gas, it'll break the tire loose eventually. Then once you break it loose eventually, you can let go of the clutch, but keep your hands on it. Don't just go back like this. Just ease out the clutch. Say you're burning the tire, wee, wee, you're burning the tire, you're holding the front brake. And then whenever you're done, just hold the front brake, roll off the throttle and pull in the clutch and you're done. And then tire's nice and warm on the little strip that you're gonna be using to go drag racing. Some people, like once they start burning rubber, they're all good. There's smoke's coming out and like, oh yeah, this is really cool. They kind of lean the bike from one side to the other so the rear tire kind of leans like this. So they get more of the tire to burn out so it becomes a little bit hotter. Besides just a strapping down, they kind of widen it by leaning the bike. You can do that if you want to, if you're drag racing, because again, that's the point of learning how to do something like this. But, so there we go. So I'm gonna attempt a couple things. Let's see what happens. Got the front brake down, off the bike. Spin a little bit, I just pull in the clutch. I'm not redlining the bike, I'm not going crazy. If I release the front brake, I'm taking off, and that's gonna be a bad day. You put a little bit of gas, off the bike, hold the front brake. I'm gonna say that again. Hold the front brake. No matter what you do, if you destroy your clutch, if you do whatever, if you let go of the brake when you're giving it a whole lot of RPM and you're releasing the clutch and you're giving a lot of gas, if that front brake loses its grip, something's bad's gonna happen. You're not gonna like it. So pull in the clutch. If something happens, pull in the clutch, you won't go anywhere. And keep in mind, whenever I went drag racing, I did this, you don't have to sit there and smoke your tire out for a minute and destroy your tire. Because obviously it's gonna, you're burning rubber, you're destroying the tire. But it just gets nice and hot and sticky before you go drag racing. So if you drag race 10 times and just burn it out for, because keep this in mind, this is why I do it at Race Legal. And this is why I imagine why people would do it. So you drag race, right, and it's all clean. But then you gotta drive back, right? Drive back through the parking lot, it's picking up rocks, there might be trash on the ground and everything else. So when you get back in line, your tire is dirty. There's all kinds of crap stuck to it and everything. So that you kind of burn off that extra crap. So you don't have to do this for more than just a couple seconds. Like just burn it out, 10, 15 rotations. I don't know how many times it'll actually go around, but it's just to get the crap off of the tire. So when you go back up for your second time drag racing, you're good. And then whenever I would go to Race Legal, I would do about 5 passes and I'd go and let the bike chill out for like 15 minutes. Because Race Legal, like I said, it's like 6 p.m. to midnight. Sometimes once a month on a Friday night or twice a month or whatever it is. I don't know the schedule, I forgot it. But I just do it about 5 times. I let the bike cool down, let the clutch plates cool down, the tires cool. I just let it chill for a little while. I chill myself out because I'm going like 110 or whatever miles per hour in like 6 seconds. So it's adrenaline rush for sure. It's a lot of fun. But then I'm not just gonna run constantly, nonstop, right? And I'm not burning out. Some people, they like it. They sit there and they burn out the tires and they're like, a minute later and their tire's destroyed and they're like, oh, I just popped my tire. I have no more tire left to drag race, so it defeats the purpose. So again, it's just to clean off the tire real quick, build some heat inside of it before you go drag racing. Unless you're drag racing or professional stunter, do this at your own risk, of course. So I'll try it one more time. What's the key? Front brake. And that's it. Burn it off a little bit. So again, this is one way how to do something. This is not you should. So I looked up on YouTube on how to do a burnout, and there's people doing all kinds of stuff, how to do a rolling burnout. There's stunters, there are all kinds of people, and there's probably 1,000 other ways to do this totally different than what I just said, and that's fine. I'm not the all-knowing burnout guy. I'm not a professional stunter. I don't drag race for a living, but this is what I learned on how to do it on a CBR 1000 and on a Hayabusa. And then how to take off fast, I already made a video about that on my BMW, and that's exactly what I did on the BMW, on the Hayabusa and the CBR 1000. I just raise the RPM, I hold the bike still with my feet. Whenever I wanted to go, I just bam, I just go and take off. But before that happened, step 1, before step 2 of taking off, I had burned out my tire just for a second. And that's how you do it. And as you can see, if you look down at the tire, All right, now it's all nice and clean. There's no rocks, there's no dirt, there's no anything. It's just, right, if I do this for like 5 minutes, and the tire's gonna be absolutely destroyed. I already need a new rear tire for the most part, but just a little bit. It's just to clean out the crap that got built on the tire from your last pass driving back on the normal road until you get back to the drag strip, and that's the whole point. So there we go. And just to make, this can be the first video that I'm announcing this, and so I made up a Discord. So a Discord is an app, and once you click on the app, you're gonna go into a Discord where it's a chat of all kinds of Fast Eddie fans and people that have that practicing MotoJitsu, and it's just a one-stop shop place you could go to and chat with a bunch of people around the world about whatever you want to. So if you look in the description, below, you'll see the app, or you see the link to join the Discord. And then you can join that if you want to. It's absolutely free, so feel free to do that. You can chat on there. You can always reply back to here. And keep in mind, everyone, if you have an absolute strong opinion that you're destroying the bike, you're destroying the tire and everything else, that's fine. Everybody has their own opinion. But I would just encourage you, you don't have to watch this video and you don't have to comment. And remember, people think I'm like, ah, and I'm like this. Look at this guy. So I'm laughing about everything. So if that makes you more mad, that's funny, because haters gonna hate regardless. So again, this is not, you should do this. And if you don't know how to ride a bike in the first place, I don't recommend doing this while you're drag racing. But if you want to know how to do it, then that's how you do it. If you don't care at all about doing any of this stuff, then you don't even have to watch this video, let alone comment. All right, everybody, thanks for watching, and see you next time.